coming up on the forum.
Mike?
LeBron, just going big picture, first of all the battles that you had against the Warriors over the years, and just this one getting to 6 games, having your most efficient game in Game 6. So what has that journey been like for you, and what's the feeling of getting the job done this time?
First of all, nothing but my utmost respect for their organization. But as far as the players, Steph, Draymond, and Clay. Those are the guys I've had the most battles with. Those are the guys that I've been in the foxhole with, in a war, with or against, and nothing but respect for them. Obviously for the franchise as well, and for us as a franchise. I mean, it's tonight in general, it was great to be able to play one of our most efficient games, one of our best games of the series, and it started because of the defensive matchup that we had. We defended at a high level, and when we do that, then we can be extremely good. And I thought we was locked in as close to 40 minutes as possible tonight.
Hung your hat on defense with this team all season long. How did you feel like tonight was an example of that? And do you feel like that's the main thing that got you to where you want to go getting out of the series?
Totally. A great defense is the best offense. I just think our guys' focus in film study, the communication, going through our walkthroughs, talking through scenarios, switching up different matchups, switching up different lineups in our walkthroughs. I think it all helps. I think everybody, working really hard to be on the same page, make sure we're on the same page. Each and every individual, each and every coach. It's just a hell of a job by everybody. And kudos to Golden State, man. It was a hell of a series. They're defending champs multiple times over for a reason. It's a tough team that makes you work, not just during the game, but even off hours, like in between game day. You're trying to just dig through the film and just seeing what different nuances they're throwing at you. How can you defend them? How can you score? They really put a lot of pressure on you to be on your P's and Q's. So salute to those guys. But I'm super duper proud of our guys. The players, the coaches, Rob, Jeannie. I'm so happy for the entire organization to be able to sit here and be in this position. Have a challenging year to say the least, but at the end of the day, we kept powering through. Our vibes stayed positive. Once we righted the ship and switched out some pieces, it came together, and I'm just happy and thankful that I get to sit in this seat and enjoy the ride.
Another series down. The quest for Banner 18 is alive and well. One team stood up to the challenge. The Los Angeles Lakers answered the call. What we witnessed in this series with Golden State was arguably one of the most entertaining ones we've seen in a while. Living legends on the same court at the same time. But at the end of the day, the Los Angeles Lakers were just better than the Golden State Warriors over 6 games. The challenge we have now going to Denver for the Western Conference Finals is going to be even tougher. But the road to a championship comes with sacrifices. Everybody must be ready to go, locked in defensively, knowing your assignments. We are back where we rightfully belong in the Western Conference Finals. Through the many changes, ups and downs, trial and triumph, the Los Angeles Lakers, we are here. A season of unknown is now within reach of one round away from the NBA Finals. Led by LeBron James, the Lakers, fly in to the Mile High City, where we will face the Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. We are LA. This is The Form, a Los Angeles Lakers podcast exclusively on the GRYD Network. So grab your seat, get comfortable, and enjoy your light beverages and snacks. As the lights dim, it's time to go on the magical ride, y'all. Laker Nation, you know the vibes. Lake Show, let's go.
Two teams of men came to California in the 60s searching for gold. And those teams struck for decades to come. They're still striking. They don it, drip in it. The gold, it's become who they are. But just because it's in your name doesn't make it yours. This isn't the type of gold you dig for. This isn't the type of gold you find. For this type of gold, you must persist. And once you've seized it, it's still not yours to keep. Not after 7 times, not even after 17. You have to earn it over and over again.
I can feel the fans. I can feel that. I think we do as a team, and we want to repay them with the win.
The energy they gave us, we just try to reciprocate that by playing the game at a high level.
And we just fed off the energy of the crowd. They say they've been waiting for a long time to be in the situation. We've been waiting for a long time to have them in this situation, and we're going to need them again.
And now for our feature presentation. Good morning, Laker Nation. Happy Monday. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Form right here on the GRYD Network. Dare to be different? Enter the GRYD, your new sports leaders in digital media, sports, and entertainment. My name is Patrick L. Brown, and I am glad to be back behind the mic for another great episode in which we have been, wow. This season has been a turnaround, to say the most part. But when I tell you Friday night was a mastercraft on defense, man, took care of the Warriors in 6. Beating them by a score of 122 to 101. This was the first meeting between the two teams in the playoffs in X amount of years, if I'm not mistaken. But man, this team is special. This team is really special. Big shout out to Rob Pelinka for turning our season around and putting us in position to be right here in the Western Conference Finals, which will kick off tomorrow night, Tuesday night in Denver, Colorado, in the Mile High City, taking on the Nuggets. But we're going to start with Game 6, which concluded Friday night. The Lakers dominated the Warriors without question. It was the most efficient game of the series for the team in general. I'm going to say this time and time again, and you've heard me say it. Offense wins you games. Defense wins championships. The Los Angeles Lakers have been the number one defense in the NBA since the All-Star break. The best record in the conference since the All-Star break. Everybody who laughed at us, saying, oh, well, you know, the Lakers are they're going to do enough to get by, but they're not going anywhere. Well, let's see here. That was, early April when the playoffs started. Here we are. It's middle of May, and here we are in the Western Conference Finals. I want that same energy from the media that they've been giving us during this playoff run. I don't want to hear any excuses about, oh, the Lakers, they've done this, but they're not going to get past Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. Okay. Say what you want to say, believe what you want to believe, but at the end of the day, we know who we are. We don't need validation from the media in general. But we're going to start with the Game 6 from Friday night. It was beautiful basketball. The team was locked in from the start. LeBron James led the way with 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. And we basically just dominated the game from start to finish. We had 5 players in double figures. AD with 17 points and 20 rebounds. LeBron with 30 points, 9 assists, 9 rebounds. Austin Reeves with 23. D'Angelo Russell with 19. And Lonnie Walker IV, the hero in Game 4, gave us 13 points in Game 6. I apologize in advance if my voice sounds compromised, but it's not going to stop me from doing my show this morning. For the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry finished with 32 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds. Draymond had 9. Gary Payton had 4. Klay Thompson, a series to forget for Klay, finished with 8 points. Just had a bad shooting performance in this series. DiVincenzo gave him 16 off the bench. Kevon Looney, who was monster on the glass. And Wiggins, who had a pretty good Game 5, if I'm not mistaken. But to beat the defending champions and ending their run of 19 straight playoff series wins is an accomplishment. We knew going into this series against the Golden State Warriors, it was going to be challenging. Credit, they lost 30 games on the road, and they were not good defensively. But when you have Steph Curry, the greatest shooter we've ever seen in the history of the NBA, that was one player that I felt that we needed to get in front of. The Lakers defense smothered and wore down Steph Curry. What I liked about that game plan in Game 4 was we were able to get in front of him and get him on the switch. Once you get him on the switch against LeBron, Steph was no match for LeBron down low. 6'9" against 6'3". Bigger, stronger. Credit, Steph put on some weight, but where you're going up against LeBron James and you'd have no help on the weak side, you really are in a cage match that's going to end in seconds. to use the UFC terminology, the Lakers defense. Lakers defense. Defense, defense, defense. I love it. As someone who used to play basketball, it does my heart good when you're able to focus in on defense. Defense is the best offense, as you heard Coach Ham say in the monologue in the opening trailer. For everything that this team has been through, the ups, the downs, well below 500 most of the season at the bottom of the barrel, and scratch and claw our way up. Who would have thought that? All the media pundits saying the Lakers are going to miss the play-in. It's going to be another failed, miserable season that the Lakers just regurgitated for all the right reasons. Yes, we were stuck with Russell Westbrook. Yes, we were stuck with Pat Beverly. All the pieces didn't fit. We all knew that. But I believe Jeannie Buss, and Rob Pelinka made the right moves to go get the players we needed to fit around LeBron. I keep saying this. Thank you, Washington Wizards, for Rui Hachimura. The underrated move of the trade deadline that no one talked about. I love watching Rui play. It feels like he's found his role and his niche in this team. But the biggest move that went under wraps or under the radar outside of Rui was bringing in D'Angelo Russell. D'Lo coming back to LA for his second stint. He's found a home. But if you want to look at this team compared the start of the season to now, it's a difference between night and day. We were able to get back, and now we're in the Western Conference Finals against the number 1 seed Denver Nuggets. When you have guys that are able to lock in on defense, it's beautiful basketball. Yes, you can score well over 100 points, but when you can hold one of the best shooting backcourts in league history to under 100, to right at 100 points, I'll take that. Steph was on an island by himself. He had no help. Klay Thompson had a series to forget. His dad, radio commentator, the great Michael Thompson, it was probably a little difficult for him to, commentate this series on ESPN Radio with John Ireland. Shout out to those guys who do a phenomenal job with the radio broadcast. All I can say is LeBron James is on a mission this year. I still have a little bit of doubt about AD going into this series. I need AD to be all in against Nikola Jokic. I need AD to give me 30 and 15. At least 30 points and crash the boards. I believe this is going to be the most difficult series thus far, going up against Denver. But when you are able to play defense, defense still wins championships. It's still relevant in basketball. It's beautiful. I love watching players play defense. We often say that defense is non-existent in basketball. But when you're able to clamp down and take away the best player on the opposition, which was Steph Curry, it was a beautiful sight to see. Credit, he got his, but nobody else didn't. That told me right then and there that the Lakers have finally bought in to Coach Ham. As much as we've criticized him throughout the season, he deserves a lot of credit, him and his coaching staff, for making the adjustments needed to get to the Western Conference Finals. Phil Handy, shout out to him, 94 feet of game. You've got to play that have that same mindset every night. We're going up against a team in Denver that can run the court with Jamal Murray leading the way, Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon. They've got KCP, former Laker, Jeff Green. They play 8-9 deep and they're well coached. We're going to have to be on our A game for sure. This is going to be a very, very tough series. But the toughest matchups prepare you for the next round. And if we can get past Denver, Laker Nation, what is the media going to say? They're going to be speechless. There's only one former NBA player who is on ESPN, Kendrick Perkins, who picked the Lakers to get to the Western Conference Finals when the trade deadline was, going on. Everybody looked at him and laughed. So far, he's been right. You can look at this Lakers team. The vibe is different. Everybody is on the same page. Everybody knows their role. And when you have that, and you have one of the greatest leaders in all of team sports, you have no worries. For a team that started 2-10 and clawed their way up to the 7th seed and in the Western Conference Finals, it would be the perfect ending for LeBron to win a ring, his 5th ring, and the most degree of difficulty of this season. With all the teams, the Nuggets, the Clippers, ain't nobody thinking about the Clippers, the Suns, the Grizzlies, and everybody else. The Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. All the teams I mentioned outside of Denver got to the Western Conference Finals. But Game 6, we all heard about the man, the myth, the legend, and Game 6 Clay. Man. Clay just had a series to forget. Did not shoot the ball particularly well this series. This team, the Warriors team, you live by the 3, you die by the 3. And it cost them. But what we were able to do is attack the paint. Live in the paint. Because nobody on their roster can stop us. Kevon Looney was probably their best rebounder. But when you have AD down low, you can do damage. When AD's engaged, he's the second best player on the floor. We're going to go through some of the stats from Friday night. And it still baffles me. Not really, but let's go ahead and see here. The biggest takeaway from Game 6 was the 3-point field goals. Lakers, we shot 13 of 26, 50%. Golden State, 13 of 48, 27.1%. We got to the free throw line more than the Warriors. We had more points in the paint, only by 2. Their bench outscored us. But the largest lead of the game, Mamba Mentality 24, was the largest lead of Game 6, was 24 points. The Golden State Warriors, in my humble opinion, has been one of the best teams within the last decade. What they've been able to do, build their team, draft, and develop. We don't know what this Warriors team is going to look like next year. But nevertheless, when you're able to knock out the defending champs in 6 games with the season that they had, that is something you build off of going into the next series. It was nice to see Steph and LeBron embrace midcourt after the game. 2 guys who have been kind of rivals to a degree when LeBron was in Cleveland, when he was going to the finals those 4 straight years, and he won 1 chip in 2016, coming back from a 3-1 deficit and defeating the Golden State Warriors, who were 73-9 that season, to finally beating Steph in a playoff series. To me, this was the series everybody wanted, and we got that. Mutual respect from both players. And for them to face off against one another in the same conference was box office. It was a movie. But at the end of the day, the Lakers were the more supremely better team than the Golden State Warriors. Want to give a big shout out to my GRYD teammate, Bryson Carver from the Carving Up podcast. Shout out to him. He went down with the Warriors. That's his team. He reps the Warriors. And he's a part of Dub Nation. And I think he would agree with the same sentiment that, your Lakers were just far more better than we were. If you haven't checked out his show, please do. Airs on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. He will give you his analysis on the Warriors and what's next for them. As for the Lakers, we're moving on to the Western Conference Finals. Defense is going to be even more crucial in beating the Denver Nuggets. It's going to be, okay, Vando, go get in front of Jamal Murray. Because I think that's the one player, in my humble opinion, that we have to keep in check. Nikola Jokic, phenomenal big man, best passing big man in basketball. We know what he can do. He can go get you a double-double or a triple-double. They've got a deep bench. KCP, Aaron Gordon. They've got Jeff Green, the journeyman. Mike Malone will have this team ready to go for game 1. It's our obligation to get 1 game in Denver to make this a series. We win game 1. I think we put the pressure on the Nuggets. But this is going to be a fill-out game for the Lakers, as it is every season, every series for LeBron James. We know what's at stake. We've got to this point, but the job is not finished. I believe it's going to be a very entertaining series. Guys are going to have to be on P's and Q's, dot their I's and cross their T's. At the end of the day, it's going to be difficult to play in that thin air in Denver, Colorado. You have to be in good condition, peak condition, to play in that thin air, that thin altitude. I believe game 1 will be fairly close, but it all starts with the defense. Attack the paint, rebound, get out and run in the half court sets in the transition. We've got to find a way to wear them down. We've got to frustrate Nikola Jokic. If AD is locked in, I believe AD can outplay Nikola Jokic. That's going to be the key emphasis of this series, is AD versus Jokic. That is the matchup I'm watching most. We know LeBron's going to get his, but we needed all the others to be tag-alongs. Austin Reeves, who had a big... If you didn't see that buzzer beater he had on Friday night from half court, that was nothing but net. Austin Reeves is going to have a big series. I believe D'Angelo Russell is going to have a big series. Jarrett Vanderbilt may be the unsung hero going up against Jamal Murray and try to keep him from getting to the rim. We had to smother them. We had to take away their strengths. Make them adjust to us. Basketball is about X's and O's. You can either coach or you can't. You can play or you're not able to. At the end of the day, the well-prepared team mentally and physically is going to win this series. This is a rematch of the 2020 Western Conference Finals down in Orlando. After Denver came back and destroyed the basement team, the Flippers, after, they had a 3-1 lead and Denver came back and beat them. I believe that this series is going to be, I'm not going to give an account of how far this series will go, but game one is usually the fill-out game on how each other's going to play. If we can get game one on Tuesday night, I believe that the Lakers can go as far as they want to go. You put the pressure on Denver, because the pressure technically is on Denver to get to the NBA Finals. The Lakers, we're just staying calm, and we've stayed the course. Film study, communication. That is key to overall team success. Led by LeBron James. We can get AD to give us consistent play. We have a chance. We have a puncher's chance to knock off the number one seeded Nuggets. Are they sure they want to play us right now? I don't know what the regular season record was, but I didn't check. What I do know is this is the hottest team in the league in the Lakers going up against the heavy favorite Denver Nuggets. We've been an underdog in every series. Game one is going to come down to 1 or 2 possessions. I believe it's going to be very, very close in game one. It will be down to the stars showing up and making big plays. But it all starts on the defensive side of the ball. I keep saying that because defense still matters. When you're able to shoot the gaps and keep bodies moving and move pieces around, you can confuse your opposition. You put them in an unfamiliar territory. That's what the Lakers were able to do with Golden State. You take away the paint, you crash the boards, and you wear down Steph Curry. I believe this will be the same formula that Coach Ham and his staff will use against Denver. Credit, Jamal Murray is a baller and can knock down any shot on the court. I'm not saying he's Steph Curry, but when he gets hot, he can get hot real quick. It all starts with taking away Nikola Jokic. And then you take away Jamal Murray. You have to pick your poison. That's how I feel about this series going into Tuesday night. It's going to be a slugfest. Credit, Denver's been off since Thursday night after they destroyed the Phoenix Suns and sent them into the offseason to Cancun. They've been chilling for the last few days, but rest assured, they will be ready to play come Tuesday night. If we're going to sit here today, I'm feeling pretty good. I hope everybody had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend with your mothers, your wives, your significant others. And if your mother is not here physically and she's gone home to glory and she's still here in spirit, hope you were able to celebrate your mom and tell her that you love her. We celebrate moms every day, and that's one day out of the year that's observed just for her. It's been a crazy NBA season, and we're getting down to the final 2 rounds. This is a big month and a half for the NBA. From here, starting tomorrow night through the middle of June. This is where the NBA is going to be the king of television. Stars, on display. This is the conference finals. This is one round away from the NBA finals to get, playing for a championship. But the pressure is going to mount on the teams who are heavily favored if you're in the top seed. But the seeds that have the lower seeds who have clawed their way to this round, the Lakers and the Heat, you gotta be ready, because those are the teams that's coming in hot like fish grease. It's not how you start the game, it's how you finish it. As the late Nipsey Hussle once said, it's a marathon and not a sprint. You gotta stay the course and keep a steady pace. This is my favorite time of the year for NBA basketball, in all honesty, is when we get to May and June. Because the NBA Finals is right around the corner. The NBA season flies in an 82-game regular season. And your goals when you start the season is compete for a championship. Those aspirations start in the off season. And you go through training camp. You build that rapport with your roster. For the Lakers that start 2-10, everybody was laughing, writing us off. Well, LeBron will pass Kareem, and that'll be it. I'm going to go on record, and I'm going to be honest. I did a show I was on Bryson Carver's podcast, and he had asked me, what was the outlook for the Lakers? And I believe I told him, well, LeBron will pass Kareem, and that'll be it. Because I did not see this team getting this far. At that particular moment in time, the way the roster was constructed, I was like, yeah, we're already 8-9 games below 500. I was feeling a little bit gloomy. But in the depths of my heart and soul, change was going to happen. And boy, did it happen when Rob made the underrated moves that nobody wanted to talk about. The Los Angeles Lakers have been the best team since the trade deadline in February. Number one defensive team in the league. At that particular moment, there was hope. When LeBron went down with the foot injury and AD coming and going, there was still some concerns. But LeBron getting 2 weeks off, getting his body right, sitting out those last few games, and getting into the play-in tournament, beat Minnesota. Well, the Memphis Grizzlies should be happy to play in the Lakers. Yeah, it's a parade inside the city, ain't it, Memphis? It's a parade inside the city, ain't it? Took care of them in 6. And as we can see, that team is they are unraveling with each day. As you all are aware, Ja Morant has been suspended from all team activities. I did an Instagram live with a couple of buddies of mine, Bryson Carver being one of them, and John Rivera from the Fan Perspective podcast. Go check that out on IG Live. Got to Golden State. Everybody was like, well, they're the defending champs. I respect the Golden State Warriors. I really do. For what their organization, they've got some phenomenal ownership, phenomenal players, and the fan base is just unreal. You walk into the Chase Center and it's like, man, these fans they live and breathe, sleep Golden State Warriors basketball. It almost feels like you're at Oracle Arena in Oakland. I've never been to Chase or Oracle, but watching from a distance on television, you could just feel that energy for sure. But at the end of the day, somebody's got to go out. Took care of the Warriors in 6. Now we're up for the biggest challenge of this playoff run against Denver. It won't be easy by any stretch of the imagination. This is going to be a series in which LeBron's going to have to play his tail off. But he needs the others to be implemented as well. Lonnie Walker's minutes are going to be huge. I believe he's the X factor. Austin Reeves has finally found his stride after having the breakout game in Game 6. I believe that Austin Reeves will be matched up with Jamal Murray sometime during this series to be physical with him. We need guys to keep moving in rotation. Coaching matters. Defense still matters. The team who makes the least amount of mental mistakes will win this series. I love the Lakers' chances. I really do. If we win Game 1, pressure's on Denver. Because everybody has picked them preseason, in the playoff start, whatever the case may be, to get to the NBA Finals. The Lakers have arrived at the right time. We hit our stride going into the playoffs. First team to 4 wins. That's how many games it takes to win a series. I don't know if it'll go to distance, where you have taken one game, one possession, and quarter at a time. That's how basketball is played. To me, the Lakers, I know we're the underdogs, and I'll take that underdog mentality into this series. Just as sure as we attempt to go out there and try to blow them out, it'll probably get returned back to us in Game 2. But it's 1 minute, 1 quarter, and possession at a time. Attack the paint, control the pace, and crash the boards. If we can do those 3 things on the checklist, I believe we can win this series. That's where it starts. Attention to detail. Knowing when and where to pick your poison. Attack Nikola Jokic, because I think that's going to be key. Slowing down Jamal Murray is going to be like the point of emphasis. Whether if it's Vando or Austin Reeves that can stay in front of him and make him work for those shots. That's going to be key point of emphasis. As we know, the NBA is a make or miss league. I think it boils down to X's and O's. Because make or miss, that goes for any NBA team. Coaching and personnel matter. Because when the going gets tough, your leaders are going to be there to help weather the storm. As we've seen in the postseason with other teams, how have their superstar players fared when the going gets tough? You can talk all season, but just as soon as you lose, you don't want to talk to nobody. LeBron James is at the podium with the media. Win or lose, he's there. As for some of the other star players in our league, they want to talk when they win, and as soon as they get blown out, they have nothing to say to anybody. At the end of the day, we all know this. LeBron James is going to be on a mission. If he's able to get past Denver, the Lakers in general, and lead this team to banner 18, which is still very much in play, this will be the toughest degree of difficulty for LeBron James in his 20-year career. It will. If he's able to capture his 5th ring and the Lakers win, we win banner number 18, I don't think we're going to have another discussion about who the greatest player of all time is. As much as I love Michael Jordan, like one of that in my humble opinion, still revered as the GOAT, LeBron accomplished this. There's no more debate. There isn't. There's no more debate. And that pains me because I grew up watching Michael Jordan. He's my favorite all-time athlete. LeBron James is number 2. But lo and behold, if LeBron does this after the way the season started and taking down the party in the city Grizzlies, the defending champs, and the Western Conference favorite Denver Nuggets, and whoever comes out the East, I'm actually getting chills right now saying this right now. It would be the greatest accomplishment of his career. In year 20, passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the captain. Shout out to the captain. To get this team to the playoffs, get to the NBA Finals, and win it as a 7th seed. It's going to be an ongoing battle of who's the greatest. And I mean that with a humble heart. Mike was 6-0 in the finals. 6 for 6. LeBron, if he makes it, he's 4-6, so it'd be his 11th appearance in NBA Finals. If he can get there. Regardless of what happens in this series, LeBron James is the leader of this team. You could say, well, they started 2-10 and got to the conference finals and couldn't finish it. That to me would be a successful season considering how it started. Because everybody wrote us off. But when we get to the finals, whoever comes out the East, that's going to be a series. I think the league wants Lakers Celtics in the finals. The oldest rivalry in the NBA. And we all know the Lakers and Celtics have had some doggone good finals series matchups going back to the 60s. When Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West, Elgin Baylor were battling Bill Russell's Celtics every other year, felt like. We usher in Showtime with Magic and Kareem and Big Game James Worthy and those epic finals battles in the 80s between the Showtime Lakers and Bird Celtics. We've met a couple of times in the 2000s, mid-2000s, 2008 and 2010, which the Celtics won in 2008. Lakers got their revenge in 2010. These two teams have not met in the finals since. Wouldn't that just be the movie of the year in the NBA? I believe that's what the league wants. Ratings. Young guns in Boston with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and the season that they've had after getting to the NBA Finals last year. The Lakers getting into the NBA Finals. Boy, wouldn't that just be a storyline? The oldest rivalry in professional sports. And these two teams were to meet in the NBA Finals. You want to talk about ratings. That would be, I think it'd probably break a record, if truth be told. LeBron in year 20 playing in the NBA Finals. The Celtics trying to get banner 18. Lakers want banner 18. But at the end of the day, one game, one quarter, one series at a time. We shall see what the Western Conference holds. The Western Conference Finals, I should say. We should see. That is all the time I have for today's show. Be sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe to The Grid on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you may listen to your podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to the network on YouTube as well. Go check out the other content that's on The Grid as well. We've got some phenomenal content creators over there getting getting and pushing out some phenomenal content. So please go tell a friend, send the links, do all you can. We're trying to build this network up into something special. If you want some different commentary and dialogue, subscribe to the GRYD. Your new leaders in digital media, sports, and entertainment. As you all know, this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I end my show with a mental health sentiment. I'm going to be very honest with you all, Laker Nation. I am a recovering mental health patient myself. It's been very difficult, talking about and opening up about my mental health. And most recently, I had a mental relapse. Part of the reason I wasn't able to record my show like I wanted to last week, I felt really, really depressed. As someone who is dealing with this element and this illness, it's trial and error. I had a little bit of a breakdown. I started to feel worthless and everything under the sun. It comes a point in time where you have to take a break. You have to take a break in order to avoid burnouts. I do believe that my story is not finished writing yet. Podcasting has become a safe space for me. It helps aid with the emotions that I feel from time to time. Working nights and then sleeping all day, it comes with errors. I go to work one time and then I'll come home and, eat and then go to sleep. Just like right now, the sun is shining and it'll be time for me to go catch a nap so I can get ready to go to work tonight. At the end of the day, if you know somebody who is struggling with their mental health, please seek help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. The more help that you can receive, the better you'll feel. In the world we live in right now, mental health is the forefront of dialogue. Whatever you need to do, please contact your local healthcare provider, and they will help you get to the resources that you need. It's okay to not be okay. I would rather see everyone admitting and seeking help versus taking their own lives. In a cruel world, tomorrow's not promised. Be sure to tell somebody you love them and that they are valued and appreciated for who they are. You're not alone in this battle. You don't have to be alone. But when you don't get help for your mental health and you take your own life, that leaves a void for your loved ones, because then they'll feel guilty for not doing their part to help you. There's been days over the last several weeks I've had to take time away from social media in order to protect my space. I'm a very spiritual individual, and lighting incense is a safe space for me. It gives positive energies and vibes. The aroma helps clear the space. It's a daily routine for me. So do what you have to do in order to stay safe. Be of good courage. Know when and where to take a time out. Know when to walk away from a negative situation. What's even strange to a degree is that I may not know you from Adam and Eve, but if nobody told you today that they love you, I love you. You are loved. You are appreciated. You are capable of being anything you want to be in this life. Don't let society keep you bound and conformed. You don't have to follow the latest trends and what's going on in our society. It is a very difficult thing to discuss and talk about. But at the end of the day, know your worth. Go where you are welcomed. Be around people who care. Even if you have to cut some people off that have been nothing but a headache, take the initiative and seek help. Because those individuals, if they're just holding you back, that's when you know you need to cut them off. At the end of the day, your life matters. Mental health matters. Let's continue to break the stigma of mental health in our communities. Use your platforms to be a voice. Educate yourself about mental health. Do all you can to protect yourself, your space. Mental health is real, ladies and gentlemen. It's an illness that is silent. People who suffer in silence are the ones who have to go through the strongest battles. Always know it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to cry, fellas. It is okay to cry. We're humans. We have humanistic feelings and emotions just like everybody else. We talk about tough love, but where's the love in being tough? Let that sink in for a second. To have someone in our lives who genuinely appreciates our flaws and imperfections is a blessing. Yes, it may be a struggle at times, but to have that someone who means a lot to you makes your journey that much more worthwhile. This is all the time I have for you today. Again, make sure you go share, comment, like, and subscribe to the GRYD. Check us out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you may listen to your podcasts. Have a great week. I will see you all later in the week for another episode of the Forum, a Los Angeles Lakers podcast. Please continue to stay safe. Check on your loved ones. Most importantly, be safe. Take care. Lake Show. Let's go. Until the next episode. Peace out.